And in sports, Ohio baseball splits its series over the weekend. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening, I'm Olivia Roman.
And I'm Andre Rawls. Welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting Southeastern Ohio.
A local event celebrating popular culture comes back to Athens.
Newswatch reporter Will Price has more on the event's return.
From one of the most recognizable characters in Star Wars to the proton packs in Ghostbusters, some of the most popular items from Hollywood could be found in the Athens Community Center on Saturday during Rathacon, the city's annual popular culture convention. It was the first Rathacon since 2019 due to the pandemic. Event president Elise Carter-Schultz says she had nerves all the way up until Saturday morning.
I was very anxious, but right now I see lots and lots of people here, which is very, very exciting. A much bigger turnout than I anticipated.
One of the fan groups in attendance were the Southeast Ohio Ghostbusters. Adam Green says he's been looking forward to the return of Rathacon for the atmosphere of the event.
But it's fun to walk through the aisles and just look at all of the unique stuff that you can only find at stuff like this. You can't find it at the big expensive cons, you find it here.
Tom Fiocchi has years of work in theater production at Ohio University, and he says one of his favorite parts are all the costumes.
I don't know, it's kind of cool to be able to be 61 and still dress up like an idiot.
Fiocchi has made more props over the years than he can count. That goes from his Thor costume to swords like these. He says one of the best parts of the convention for him is watching attendees interact with the things he's made.
I bring all this stuff so that everybody can just climb all over it and wield the guns around and the swords and things like that. So, yeah, it's a highlight of my year.
Green says interacting with children who have seen the newest Ghostbusters film was one of his favorite aspects this year.
We had a little kid that we gave a rookie sticker to because he was using the popper and he was blasting Slimer here.
Schultz says the biggest reason for their success on Saturday was because of a community that has been growing since the first Rathacon back in 2009.
Events going on, but people just want to be here and want to socialize. And so I really think that I'm very proud of how we've sort of built kind of a loyal fan base of people that just really like being here. And
for Newswatch, I'm Will Price in Athens.
And another local event making its return after the pandemic, Ohio University's annual International Street Festival.
Here with more on the event is Newswatch reporter Kate Anderson.
Thanks, Olivia. Athens held their first International Street Fair since the beginning of the pandemic. Members of the community joined in for the parade and festivities despite the unpredictable weather.
Rain, sleet, and cold weather did not stop the smiling faces at Saturday's International Street Fair. A parade kicked off the event where members of the community walked through the streets holding flags representative of their nations, chanting "Many nations, one family."
One family!
We're bringing all cultures together in one location here in the heart of southeastern Ohio. That I really love. You know, when you look around Southeast Ohio, it's not the most diverse place in the world. However, when you bring all the international students that are here at Ohio University into the mix, that we really are a diverse community.
Ohio University is home to students from over 100 different nations, and the street fair is a wonderful way to be exposed to the different cultures that are represented at the university.
I think it's a great way to see what other cultures are present at Ohio University, and kind of just seeing what they bring to the table, hearing their stories, and also just learning about their culture, their food. I think it's a great way to kind of just interact with everyone that you don't see on your day-to-day basis.
The International Street Fest is a great representation of all the cultures and different people that call Athens home.
Rice in it, we boil it, and we eat it in a very special day.
From trying new foods to playing games, the fair is all about learning new things.
I think especially in a rural community that we live in, it's really good for people to be acclimated to people from other cultures and to be surrounded by just different traditions. I think it's really important to learn about what is important to other people.
It was a great fun-filled, food-filled day. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Kate Anderson.
The International Street Fest will return next year to represent many nations as one Athens family. Now back to you, Olivia.
Thank you, Kate. A new law that exempts businesses from being required to pay hourly workers for activities beyond the employee's regular work schedule has passed. The new law says employers will not have to pay employees for small periods of time beyond the employee's scheduled working hours, unless the employer requests those activities. The Ohio Chamber of Commerce pushed for the new law since more employees became eligible for overtime pay while working remotely during the pandemic. Republicans say the law prevents lawsuits by clarifying rules for those working more than 40 hours in a week. Democrats argue that the new law opens the door for wage theft. The law will take effect in July.
Good evening, I'm forecaster Cole Patterson. It's been quite the rainy day today, and what we're looking at right now is the radar throughout this afternoon. So right now we are looking at around 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. and moving into 5 p.m. That rain has been pushing through the region all day, and unfortunately, it's only going to continue into tonight. Tonight, we're going to see a low of 58 degrees. Excuse me, actually, this is a 58 degrees is the temperature right now. It's overcast right now, so we do have a little bit of a break in the rain right now. However, that rain is only going to return and remain consistent throughout the night. 58 seems pretty mild out, but those temperatures are also going to drop as we move throughout the night. Looking at the region right now, it is 61 a little bit to the north in Lancaster, 59 up in Columbus, and down to the south a little bit. We have 63 in Huntington and 66 in Charleston, so a lot warmer down in Charleston than what we have right now. This is the current regional radar right now. There's a lot of rain spread out through the country, and I'll have more about that in my full forecast, but for now, back to the desk.
Thanks, Cole. The investigation remains open in the death of a 3-year-old who suffered a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the chest on Friday, and Biden announces gun reform regulations to stop the spread of ghost guns. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
Cannabis. People believe it can cure any disease that exists, or it's going to cause the downfall of society.
In a country where people are talking about its medical use, someone gets arrested for cannabis every 58 seconds.
For what conditions is it beneficial, and for what conditions is it harmful?
What does the science tell us? Truth through science. We should know the answers.
The Cannabis Question on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
I knew that this is a way to cure cancer. I knew that that was a way. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let that just lay around.
What if nothing we thought was right?
The skepticism was widespread. Jim experienced it probably every day. Part of Jim's success is the fact that he doesn't care that he's not following convention.
I think any great big disruptive change is going to take some single-mindedness.
Jim Allison, Breakthrough.
Monday at 9 on WOUB.
Russia's military assault of Ukraine is underway.
He's been called the most dangerous man in the world.
There's this grievance that's eating away at Vladimir Putin, and it's fundamental to his tenure.
The inside story of Putin's road to war.
I think he's more dangerous than he's ever been. He will grind the country down to a fine, fine ash. He will not be humiliated by people he calls little Russians.
A Frontline special report.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB.
On the top of the world, a great migration unfolds. Thousands of caribou journey to one special place. This is the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, an Alaskan sanctuary bursting with life. But in an ever-changing world, can these Ice Age creatures survive?
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
Child has died after suffering a gunshot wound to the chest. Meigs County Sheriff Keith Wood tells WSAZ the incident happened just before 9 a.m. on Friday along Price Strong Road in Salem Township. Sheriff Wood says the shooting was accidental. He says a 3-year-old boy got a hold of a handgun and shot himself. Sheriff Wood says all evidence will be sent to prosecutors to determine if anyone will be charged in the shooting. As of Friday, no charges have been filed, and the investigation into the child's death remains opened.
Now, Meigs County is not the only area seeing a rise in gun-related deaths.
Around the country, gun violence is surging. Shimon Prokupex has more on the national crisis.
Tragedy from coast to coast as shootings rock neighborhoods nationwide. In Cedar Rapids, Iowa, shots fired early Sunday morning at a nightclub, leaving 2 dead and at least 10 injured, according to police.
This is another mindless and senseless gun-related incident.
Police are still uncertain about the number of shooters, but they believe the suspects may have slipped out as the crowd of up to 150 rushed for the exits after the shooting began.
This is not who we are. This is not Cedar Rapids. Today I challenge all of us to meet the need so clearly before us. We must be the change.
A birthday party in Indianapolis ended with gunshots early Sunday morning.
Some type of fight or disturbance broke out, and then shots occurred.
Officers arrived at the scene and found 1 man dead and at least 5 others with gunshot wounds. And in Georgia, the Coweta County coroner arrived at a fatal armed robbery and discovered his father, mother, and son were the victims. The local police chief shocked.
Right now I'm speechless, really. I've had a hard time talking about it. You know, we don't have stuff like here in Grantmore like that. I mean, this is a nice, quiet little town.
Tommy Hawk, his wife Evelyn, and 19-year-old grandson Luke were killed at the family's shooting range. The ATF is assisting in the investigation where police estimated at least 40 guns were stolen. In Los Angeles County, police responding Sunday afternoon to a shooting in the Willowbrook neighborhood that left 2 dead and 5 others wounded.
There were at least 2 vehicles that approached the area. There were suspects within that vehicle that shot the victims.
In Washington, D.C., 4 people shot near Nationals Park at the conclusion of the game Saturday night. 2 teens were among the injured. All injuries appear to be non-life-threatening, police say. And in New York, shots rang out during what police say was a dispute between 2 individuals on Friday in the South Bronx, resulting in the death of 16-year-old Angela Yambo. 2 other teens were wounded. A 17-year-old was arrested the next day in connection with the shooting. A police source told CNN a so-called ghost gun has been recovered. Senator Chuck Schumer of New York calling for a crackdown on the privately made firearms.
These guns are too easy to build, too hard to trace, and too dangerous to be on our streets. The number of ghost guns in New York City and on Long Island are skyrocketing.
After a violent weekend, President Biden announces new regulations on the use of privately made guns, or so-called ghost guns. Current regulations on ghost guns, which are untraceable weapons made from kits, make them difficult to track. This new measure would require background checks on people purchasing the kits and require manufacturers to put serial numbers on certain parts so the guns can be traced.
These guns are weapons of choice for many criminals. We're going to do everything we can to deprive them of that choice. And when we find them, put them in jail for a long, long time. Law enforcement is sounding the alarm. Our communities are paying the price, and we're acting. Today, the United States Department of Justice is making it illegal for a business to manufacture one of these kits without a serial number. Illegal.
Biden also named Steve Dettelbach, a former U.S. attorney from Ohio, to lead the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. The federal agency tasked with enforcing federal gun laws has not had a permanent director since 2015.
Russians' focus in the war has now shifted to the eastern Ukraine. That story's still ahead.
It's been quite the rainy day, and we're going to only see more rain throughout the night, but thankfully we'll have a break tomorrow. I'll have more about that in my full forecast just ahead, but for now, here's a look at stocks of local interest.
In 1941, Paris is occupied by German forces, and Hitler thinks he's invincible.
So he invades the Soviet Union.
Stalin didn't hesitate to send millions of people to die. This is the kind of behavior you get with dictators.
They disregard intelligence, expertise, and those are the seeds of their defeat.
Rise of the Nazis, Dictators at War. Premieres Tuesday, April 12th on PBS and the PBS app.
Russia's military assault of Ukraine is underway.
He's been called the most dangerous man in the world.
There's this grievance that's eating away at Vladimir Putin, and it's fundamental to his tenure.
The inside story of Putin's road to war.
I think he's more dangerous than he's ever been. He will grind the country down to a fine, fine ash. He will not be humiliated by people he calls little Russians.
A Frontline special report.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB.
Cannabis. People believe it can cure any disease that exists, or it's going to cause the downfall of society.
In a country where people are talking about its medical use, someone gets arrested for cannabis every 58 seconds.
For what conditions is it beneficial, and for what conditions is it harmful?
What does the science tell us? Truth through science. We should know the answers.
The Cannabis Question on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
I knew that this is a way to cure cancer. I knew that that was a way. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let that just lay around.
What if nothing we thought was right? The skepticism was widespread. Jim experienced it probably every day. Part of Jim's success is the fact that he doesn't care that he's not following convention.
I think any great big disruptive change is going to take some single-mindedness.
Jim Allison, Breakthrough.
Monday at 9 on WOUB.
Welcome back. I'm forecaster Cole Patterson. Right now we're looking at the radar throughout this afternoon. So right about now we're looking at what it was around 3 p.m. moving into 4, 5, and 6 p.m. And you can see that rain moving throughout the region, but clearing out for about now, giving way for a little bit of cloud coverage and a break from the rain. But tonight we are going to see more rain as we look at the regional, more of a regional aspect here. You can see a whole wall of rain and even thunder and thunderstorms moving throughout the region over to the east coast, and that is really going to affect us tonight as we have some more wet conditions. The temperature tonight that we are going to hit is 51. Like I said, 90% chance of rain, so we're going to have rain showers on and off throughout the entire night, but thankfully nothing freezing, so we won't have to worry about any of that rain freezing over. Taking a look at the region tomorrow, we're going to have more rain tomorrow to start off, but actually we're going to have a break. We'll have lots of rain throughout the week, and I'll have more about that in just a minute, but for tomorrow, we are going to have some rain to start off the day as we have that high pressure system moving through the region. And then taking a look also at tomorrow when it comes to just precipitation, you can see the stronger stuff is thankfully over to the west, and that is what is going to affect us later in the week. So we have some light rain that we're going to experience over here in the Ohio region, southeastern Ohio and all that, but it's only going to be just a little bit to start off the day. We're actually going to have mostly just overcast skies. Tomorrow, 20% chance of rain is the exact precipitation account that we are going to have in specific. We're going to actually reach a temperature of 70, so very, very pleasant outside. Although we're not going to have very much sunshine, it is definitely going to be a warm day, so no need to bundle up or for any coats or any of that. Taking a look at the region tomorrow night, we can see we have a lot more of the precipitation to the south a little bit, so it's not really going to affect us that much tomorrow night, hence the 20% chance of rain. It is really going to be down to the south a lot more, so we won't have to really worry about that. Taking a look at our weekend ahead, Friday is really going to be the only day this week that we have a lot of sunshine, mostly sunshine, and the rain is going to stick around as we have 70% chance of, or 30% chance of showers on Saturday, and 40% chance of showers on Sunday, with 67 being the high on Saturday and a high of 59 on Sunday. And expanding that out a little bit to see our 7-day outlook, we have rain pretty much every day. I wish I could change that, but unfortunately I can't. Like I said, Friday is going to be the only day with mostly sunny skies. We're going to have rain on and off Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday through Monday. Tomorrow we'll start off the day with a little bit of rain, but it's mostly going to be overcast skies. That is the warmest day in our upcoming week at a high of 70. Wednesday is actually going to be the warmest day at 75, but we're basically going to stick around in the mid-60s moving through Saturday and hit 59 for both Sunday and Monday, so thankfully nothing very cold. That is all I have for weather right now. Back to the desk.
Thank you, Cole. Russia's focus has shifted to eastern Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says his country is putting up a defiant front. He says his troops can fight back, but insists they need help from the U.S.
Ukraine bracing for a major Russian assault in the east.
Russia is preparing another offensive.
In Mariupol, relentless shelling.
You understand that somebody is dying at that moment, but you're actually happy that it's not you.
Ukraine's president says tens of thousands of people have died in the city. The latest battle for the Donbas region is underway. Some Ukrainians evacuating west. There is a lot of bombing here, says Oksana. I'm afraid for the children. Russian troops withdrawing from the north, but building up in the east. The fighting there expected to be pivotal in this war.
Frankly speaking, I don't think we can differentiate between, stages of hell that Ukraine is now going through.
President Vladimir Zelensky insists his people are ready for this new wave of Russian attacks, but says they can't do it alone.
All depends on how fast we will be helped by the United States. To be honest, whether we will be able to survive depends on this.
And for that chance of survival, the Ukrainians are pleading for weapons, planes, tanks, and defense systems. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin appointing a general nicknamed the Butcher of Syria to lead troops, according to one U.S. and one European official. Alexander Dvornikov is the mastermind behind brutal tactics in past conflicts, leading to major civilian deaths. In Washington, Isabel Rosales.
Governor Mike DeWine has announced the state is collecting hundreds of helmets, protective vests, and other surplus police equipment and for the civilian defense of Ukraine. The Fund to Aid Ukraine is a nonprofit organization based in Parma with a large Ukrainian American population. DeWine said Friday the fund will coordinate the delivery of Ohio's equipment to Ukraine. The governor said more than 24 law enforcement agencies have delivered approximately 75 ballistic and riot helmets and 840 pieces of body armor, including vests, and plates.
Coming up in sports, Ohio baseball splits its series against Toledo. That story is right after the break. And be sure to stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
In 1941, Paris is occupied by German forces, and Hitler thinks he's invincible.
So he invades the Soviet Union.
Stalin didn't hesitate to send millions of people to die. This is the kind of behavior you get with dictators.
They disregard intelligence, expertise, and those are the seeds of their defeat.
Rise of the Nazis, Dictators at War, premieres Tuesday, April 12th on PBS and the PBS app.
Very, very cool.
On Finding Your Roots, Regina King.
Pain is inherited, as well as joy.
And Damon Lindelof.
My identity as an American is ever evolving.
Old Family Wounds.
Do you think trauma like that is passed down?
Felt for generations.
Where we came from is an essential part of solving life's mystery.
I don't know what I expected. This is pretty fantastic.
Tuesday at 8 on WOUB.
Cannabis. People believe it can cure any disease that exists, or it's going to cause the downfall of society.
In a country where people are talking about its medical use, someone gets arrested for cannabis every 58 seconds.
For what conditions is it beneficial, and for what conditions is it harmful?
What does the science tell us? Truth through science. We should know the answers.
The Cannabis Question on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, the stories about these treasures are music to our ears.
As I got older and started getting into the Beatles, and finally I watched the Yellow Submarine movie, and I realized, hey, I think that's what's at my grandma's house.
My favorite thing to do is just take one of these.
It's Antiques Roadshow, next time from Grounds for Sculpture in Hamilton, New Jersey.
Monday at 8 on WOUB.
Ohio baseball hits the road for a game tomorrow after wrapping up a homestand this weekend. The Bobcats split the 4-game series with Toledo, following a 6-5 win on Friday. Ohio wasn't able to come back in the bottom of the 9th inning Saturday, losing 11-8. The teams had a doubleheader Sunday to close out the series. The Bobcats' relief pitchers struggled in the first game, allowing the Rockets to come away with the 11-5 victory. Ohio came back in the second game, winning 10-3 behind 3 RBIs from Will Sturrock. Head coach Craig Moore says he's pleased with how Sturrock has stepped up.
You know, Will's been working hard, you know, and you know, he's been getting, you know, a lot of at-bats, you know, in pitch hitting situations and things like that. And after last night, you know, I felt like he had earned the right to get in the lineup for these 2 games today, and he had a really good day swinging the bat.
Eddie Cutt is another player the Bobcats are leaning on early in the season. He's become a crucial pitcher for Ohio baseball over the last 5 seasons, and the 5th-year starter says he's chasing Bobcat history. Eddie Cutt has been a staple of Ohio's pitching staff. Cutt has appeared in 86 games for the Bobcats over the last 5 years. The California native says his commitment to OU started with his first visit.
I was interested in going out of state, just experience something new. I talked to one of the coaches. They said come out here for a camp, and I did that. I pitched pretty well, and then they gave me an offer.
Cutt has been a utility player for Ohio's pitching staff, serving in both starting and relief roles. Each role presents a different challenge and has helped shape Cutt into the pitcher he is now, a strikeout machine. Cutt has pitched many innings on the mound here at Bomberend Stadium. With this being his 5th season for the Bobcats, he has one goal in his mind: to put his name in the Ohio baseball record book.
I think I'm decently close to breaking the strikeout record here, so I want to do that for sure.
Cutt is 7 strikeouts away from beating the career strikeout record. His coaches say he has the intangibles that make him a prime candidate to break that record.
His strengths, his weaknesses, his preparation, the way he goes about his business every day from a work ethic standpoint, from a preparation standpoint, does a tremendous job setting a good example for the rest of the pitchers on our staff and even the rest of the players on our team.
Cutt, like every Ohio pitcher, had a tall task coming into this season: fill a Joe Rock-sized hole left by the now Colorado Rockies pitching prospect. Cutt says being a part of Ohio's 1-2 punch with Rock last year taught him a lot about his role this season.
We had a nice little tandem going on with me and him last year. Filling his shoes is a big step, or a big ask, but I feel like our seniors have a lot of seniors on the team, and I feel like it was something we were capable of.
Cutt and the Bobcats are back in action tomorrow at Marshall with first pitch at 3 p.m. Ohio softball's 7-game win streak came to an end earlier today with a 5-4 loss to Ball State. Ohio was up 4-0 in the 3rd inning of the rainy series finale, but the Cardinals scored 2 runs in the bottom of the frame. In the 4th inning, a 2-run home run tied it up. A walk-off home run in the bottom of the 6th gave Ball State the victory. The win stopped the series sweep for Ohio. The Bobcats are back in action this weekend against Central Michigan. I'm Maria Manessi, and that's it for sports. Now to Cole with a final look at the weather.
We've seen a lot of rain today, and it's only going to continue throughout the night tonight as we hit a low of 51 degrees. 90% chance of rain is the amount we're going to have tonight, with a sunrise tomorrow hitting at 6:53 a.m. Also looking at the temperatures for tomorrow, we're going to reach a high of 70 with a 20% chance of possible rain. We're also going to have a low of 57 tomorrow, so we're going to have a break from the rain for tomorrow, but we're actually going to have lots of clouds, so thankfully no sunshine. And looking at our 7-day week ahead, we have rain throughout the entire week, with Friday really being our only exception. We're going to have a high of 75 on Wednesday being our highest temperature, and like I said, sun's really only going to be on Wednesday. And that's all for weather.
Thanks, Cole, and that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Andre Rolls.
And I'm Olivia Roman. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news.
Support comes from Dean Heating and Cooling, keeping homes cool all summer with Tempstar. Dean Heating and Cooling provides HVAC service and installation in the Athens area, featuring Tempstar quality you can feel.